Hey guys! Today I'm going to be taking y'all along with me on a day in the life of an equestrian college student. Right now it's like 6 o'clock in the morning. I have to go out and feed the horses, and then I'm going to come back inside and take a shower and get ready for school, and then eat some breakfast. So basically, right now I'm in Maymester, which is a really condensed semester where you take, I'm only taking one class, but your class, like my class literally lasts 11 class days. So basically what we do is we go to class from 8 till noon, and they just pack all of their information into the class. So I'm gonna go to school. The class that I'm taking is a speech class. So they are assigning our first speech, which is our introduction speech. And then she's gonna talk over a few chapters in the book. And then when I come home, I'm gonna eat lunch and ride River and Jax. They're gonna do dressage. So let's go. Okay, update. So I'm home from school now. I'm eating lunch, and then I'm gonna go ride the horses, and this is what my lunch looks like. Lunch and in-game. Okay, so I am going to do dressage today. I'm gonna ride Jax first, and then I'm gonna ride River. And right now they're really spooked with something. I don't know what. They've been spooked for the past day or so. They keep looking at my neighbor's backyard like they think there's something there that's gonna hurt them, but I have no idea what they think is there because there's nothing there. So should be pretty interesting rides today. With Jax, I'm gonna work on trying to get him more uphill by basically I have to get him connected first over the back, and then I'm going to lift his shoulders to get him more uphill and work on some of the test prelim test movements on him, like leg yields and his counter canter loops and stuff like that. I think I figured out what you're spooking at there. The ball. Really, dude? It is a ball. A ball. The scariest thing in the world. Right here. A ball. That is what my 3-star eventer is spooking at. Right there. A ball. Horses sometimes, y'all. Horses. Yep, it was the ball. Jack's all ready to go. We're gonna go do some dressage, Jackson. So every time I ride a horse, I like to start off at the walk with a really loose rein, almost thinking in a free walk, but instead I'm gonna be focusing on getting their back swinging and their hind legs stepping over the hoof prints of their front feet. This helps with any stiffness they have in their back, and it helps focus the horse on always being in front of your leg and going forward for the rest of your ride. Everything you do one direction, you need to mirror on the other direction. That way they're being equally worked. Next, I move them up to the trot, and I usually do the same thing, but for Jax, I have to work him in more of a training level connection. I do this because he will get too downhill in his shoulders if I let him stretch down. Normally, it takes a couple minutes to get him loose in his back at the trot and stepping completely under himself with his hind legs. If he feels really stiff, I might do some figure eights, or if he feels a little downhill, I will do some shoulder ins to fix those two different issues. Then I move him up to the canter, as you just saw, but I didn't really like that canter transition, so I'm going to bring him back down to the trot and ask him on a 10-meter or a half circle, which will just make the question a little bit easier and set him up for success. Again, in the canter, I'm focused on getting him in front of my leg and stepping under himself with his hind legs, and then I will try to bring it up more uphill. And then some ways I do that is I will do one loop serpentines touching either the center line or the quarter line. It just really helps with keeping them uphill, and if he gets behind my leg, I might kick him forward into more of a medium canter, and if he feels a little tight in his back, I might stretch him down for a circle. Here I'm really just trying to keep him in front of my leg and stepping under without locking his back, which is one of the things he likes to do. And I check it to see where he's at with those loops. And then I like to change directions right here. Again, mirroring everything I do on each side. I was actually quite happy with that transition, as it's most difficult for him to go from left lead to right lead and stay straight. And the reason for that is his shoulders being downhill. So whenever I force him to stay straight, he can't just throw himself into his lead. So again, I'm using these serpentines and shoulder ends to help try and hold his shoulders up without using my hands. I really liked that shoulder end he did, so that's why I let him out of it. Sometimes we don't have to go through the whole movements to achieve what we were looking for. So now I'm going to bring him back down to the trot and check his shoulder ends to make sure he's uphill. And I'm going to start working into leg yields once his shoulder ends are good. This leg yield I didn't particularly like. He's a little bit crooked. But overall he is responding. So I'm going to go back down and do the same thing again with the shoulder end, trying to control his shoulders. And then ask for the leg yield one more time. And here he stays much straighter. I was very happy with that. And he's stepping through much better and going forward. So now I am going to canter again and check to see if it's easier, if he is automatically stepping through in his hind legs and uphill. And like I said, one way that's really easy to check if they are working correctly is your shoulder ends. So now I'm going to work on our walk to canters to see how much stepping through he is, and over the back, because they have to really collect themselves for this movement. I was quite pleased with that. I used that 90-degree square turn to help set up that movement. It's about making it easier for him right now to get the answer correct to build his confidence, rather than seeing if he can do it exactly how it is in the test. Again, checking my canter and testing it with a loop. And now I'm going to do another canter to trot and pick up the right lead, as I like to continue to practice that, since that is one of the difficult moves for him. Again, I'm going to check my canter with this circle, make sure he's in front of my leg, and now I'm going to do serpentine. I was very, very pleased with how he was going. So I took the pressure off, did not make him go as far out in the serpentines. Now I'm going to bring his canter back down to the trot. Again, this is in the prelim test, so continuing to practice the movements individually. And now we're just going to give him a nice halt so that he knows his technical work is done. I really liked that halt, as he's fixing. We're really training him on how to square himself up. And I was very happy that he fixed himself. And now I'm going to do a stretch trot to finish off the day. This just helps them to not get stiff the next day. It'll help with soreness. If you notice, I do sit the trot whenever I stretch. In the dressage test, it does say you can rise or sit. On most horses I do rise, but on jacks I always pitch forward with my shoulders, and for whatever reason, so I have to sit it. I recommend posting the trot as it helps keep them swinging in the back, unless if you have a real reason and it makes your trot stretch significantly better by sitting. And then just ending with a nice free walk. Again, it should be pretty much the same walk as at the beginning. Okay, so for River, the biggest goal for him is to hold himself over the back, stepping through with his hind leg, and then reaching more forward with his neck. So with River, I'm going to start the same exact way, walking on the long rein, getting him to stretch his back. He's a bit older, so it takes a lot longer to get him to loosen his back. There, he trips. He does that all the time, but only at the walk. So you can see he won't stretch down nowhere near as far as Jax does. So I'm constantly trying to kick him forward, kick him over his back, and sometimes I'll just move right to the canter and try to loosen his back up. So here I'm doing some canter shoulder ends, trying to get his hind legs under him and kick him out into that rein because he was not holding the contact at all today. And he wasn't responding well in those, so I decided I was going to do some counter canter to help limber him up. If your horse won't stretch, then the counter canter really helps with getting their back loose. Again, I'm working him in a bit lower frame, just trying to help him stretch. So now I'm going to start picking him up and getting him to do some shoulder ends because I want to get him on that outside rein since he's not really holding the contact at all. Now I'm going to continue to change things up and do some walk to canters because River gets really distracted really easily. And like I said, with the ball and all that stuff happening today, I didn't really have his brain or his connection. So I'm just trying to do lots of different things to keep it always changing. And I'm going to continue to try and improve on his connection. And I'm going to, by collecting him and lengthening him, and not necessarily his stride, but his body. Again, trying to do those shoulder ends and, get him on the outside of that rein. And that didn't really work, so I'm going to use another tool in my toolbox, which are these these little serpentine loops in a longer frame. And again, I'm doing those walk to canters to try and get him to adjust his body and lengthen and collect. Again, with these serpentines, they serve lots of good purposes, getting them over the back on your outside rein, stepping under, and it also helps you check your canter to see where it's at. So now I'm just walking, because sometimes walking will fix your issues. And now I'm going to see where he is at the trot and your leg yields. The leg yields will tell a lot about where your horse is at. Like here, he's not really on that outside rein. So I'm going to go around and do a shoulder in to try and get him to hold that outside rein a little bit better and keep him straighter. It is always a good idea to do 10-meter circle before you go into your shoulder ends. It really helps you to start controlling the shoulders as well as get on the correct angle of the shoulder in. And you can see he's not really on that outside rein until the end of that shoulder in. And then we're going to come around. He's holding the reins a bit better. So I'm going to ask him for a leg yield again. This leg yield is a lot better, could be straighter, but I was pleased with it compared to the first one that we did. So now I'm going to check my trot with the medium. The medium will also help me get him pushed into that contact a little bit better. This shoulder in was better than the other direction. So I could tell that we were both tired at this point. So I went ahead and gave him a little break. It was really hot outside, and he had been so stressed about that ball that I decided I was just going to ride him again tomorrow and work on things again. Overall, I was very pleased with him. So now I am done riding. Excuse my ugly, it's Texas, it's 100 degrees outside face. So now I'm gonna have to go in the house and write my speech that I have to give tomorrow in class. And then come back out and feed the horses and eat dinner myself and get prepared to go to class again in the morning. Right, River? Okay guys, so I have finished writing my speech and I'm going out to feed right now, and then I'm going to practice my speech a couple times, but then I'm gonna just watch some TV and go to bed, get rested for having to present tomorrow. But yeah, let's go feed the horses first. Thank you to everyone who watched this whole video. I know it was super long. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please leave a like and subscribe. We're gonna come out with a new video, so stay tuned and subscribe and turn that post notification on so you can see when I post next. Thank you for watching and stay wonderful.